They told us America was a starving wasteland. I learned the truth in Norfolk, 1943, stepping off the gangway to Sing Sing Sing, while black and white workers laughed over crates of white bread. We were prepared for the firing squad or the whip. We weren't prepared for a clarinet and a crate of oranges. But to understand why, you must know what happened 6 months earlier in Tunisia. The sand in Tunisia had a specific weight, heavier than dust, sharper than ash. It collected in the creases of my eyelids as I pressed my back against the crumbling limestone of the olive press. My tongue, a dried sponge, my sunburned shoulders screaming under the salt-stained wool. The stone behind me still held the cold of night, but it was warming fast, leaching sweat from my body. American shells had been walking closer all morning, each explosion throwing up columns of ochre dust that smelled of cordite and crushed thyme, mixing with the rot of crushed olives. It was May 7th, 1943. The world was ending, and the heat was already unbearable, pressing down like a hand over my mouth. You will hold this position until the ammunition is exhausted. The Führer demands steel, not surrender. His voice cracked like dry leather. Oberstleutnant Schmid stood in the doorway of the shattered building, his SS collar tabs black with sweat and oil, his Luger trembling in a hand that had grown too thin for its gloves. His sunburn had peeled in strips, revealing raw pink flesh. His eyes glassy. He was looking at us, at me and Lucas, but his eyes were focused on some horizon that existed only in propaganda, somewhere far from the stench of fear that clogged our throats. Matthias, listen. The engines have stopped. I held my breath. The artillery had indeed ceased. In the ringing silence, I heard boots crunching on scree, American boots. The sound was different from our jack boots, lighter, freer, terrifying in their casual rhythm. A bird called out, a single stupidly cheerful chirp. The Panzers? Are they coming back? I hear nothing, just the ringing. My head is splitting. German soldiers, we are medics. We have water and bandages. The accent was strange, flat, impossibly foreign. I expected the bark of a machine gun. Instead, a helmet rose slowly above the rubble, a white helmet marked with a red cross that looked impossibly bright against the dun-colored rocks. The man beneath it was young, perhaps 20, with freckles standing out like ink spots on his sunburned face. He held his hands wide, empty, stepping over the broken wall. My name is Corporal Clifford Whitaker, United States Army. You are surrounded. Come out slow, hands where I can see them. Nobody needs to die in this heat today. Treason! Keller, shoot him! Shoot the American or die like a coward with your boots on! My fingers found the trigger of my car, 98K. The wood was swollen from humidity, the metal hot enough to burn my palm. I sighted down the barrel at the American medic, at his open hands, at the canteen hanging from his belt. Water. Real water, not the radiator fluid we'd been drinking for 3 days. My vision swam, and for a moment I saw the canteen as a mirage, a trick of the heat shimmering off the rocks. I cannot see him clearly, Herr Oberstleutnant. The sun is in my eyes. The sand has blinded me. We are already dead, Herr Oberstleutnant. We died 3 weeks ago at Medellin. Lucas stood slowly, his hands trembling above his head, his Africa Corps tunic hanging loose where the buttons had been torn off during the retreat. He was crying, the tears cutting clean tracks through the grime on his cheeks. He stepped forward into the killing sunlight, waiting for the bullet, his shadow stretching long across the dust. Easy, kid, easy. Look at me, look at my eyes. You're safe. You're safe now. The American kept walking forward, slow, his boots kicking up dust that glittered like mica. He was unarmed, his rifle slung across his back. He extended his hand, palm up, empty, offering nothing but mercy. The gesture was so alien, so soft, that I felt my chest tighten until I couldn't breathe. Lucas, don't move. He'll shoot you. Look at his hand shaking. Let him shoot. I'm standing up. Put the pistol down, Herr Oberstleutnant. The war is over for us. Keller! I will execute you both for cowardice. Pick up your rifle or die. I looked at the Luger barrel, then at the American's outstretched hand. The sand burned my cheeks like ground glass. The eagle on my chest felt like it was made of lead, dragging me down into the earth. I thought of my mother, of Bremen, of the way sunlight looked on the Weser River, things that had nothing to do with steel or victory. I am 17 years old. I am too young to be dead. Take the water, please. I'm surrendering. The car 98K clattered on the stones. The sound echoed off the ruins like a bell. In the silence that followed, I heard the American medic exhale, a long, shaky breath, and I realized I had been holding mine for 6 months, since the day I left Bremen. 17? Jesus Christ. Come here, son, just come here. The dust tasted like copper pennies ground between my teeth. I stood in ragged formation outside Tunis, boots sinking into sand that had swallowed our panzers, sunburned shoulders peeling beneath the salt-stained tunic that hung loose as a shroud. The silence after the artillery stopped was worse than the shelling, a heavy, buzzing quiet that made my ears ring. We had marched 3 days on cactus pulp and canteen water that tasted of rust. When the American jeeps appeared on the ridge, they didn't roar. They idled. Men in clean uniforms stepped out, smoking cigarettes that smelled of autumn and something sweet I couldn't name. Look at these cowards. You think surrender buys you life? The Americans eat their prisoners. I saw it in the Great War, boiled the flesh from German bones for soap, ground the rest into feed for their hogs. You will be in their bellies by Christmas if you don't fight now. Die on your feet or simmer in their pots. The weight of my boots felt suddenly immense, as if the earth itself pulled me down to burial. I looked left, seeking any face not twisted by hate or terror. Lucas Bauer stood there, 17 like me, his eyes hollowed by dysentery and a hope that refused to die. My cousin wrote from Wisconsin. He said they have farms. Apple orchards, Matthias. They wouldn't. Lies. American propaganda. You'll see the knives soon enough. They marched us onto the USS Wakefield in chains of 50. The hold was absolute darkness, the air thick with diesel and the ammonia stench of 500 unwashed men. 30 days. 30 days of Atlantic swell pressed between bodies, counting the seconds between waves to prove we hadn't drowned. I couldn't see my hand before my face. Someone prayed in Bavarian. Someone wept. I licked rust from the bulkhead for moisture, the metal tasting like blood and rain. Matthias, are you awake? I'm counting. 3,000 seconds. If I reach it before the next roll, we don't sink. Do you think they really have knives waiting? The hatch opened at Norfolk Naval Base on a Tuesday that smelled of cut grass and coffee. Not boiling flesh. Coffee. The light struck like a blade after 30 days of night. I stumbled up the gangplank, blind, my legs buckling, waiting for the bullet, the cookpot, the teeth. Easy there. Easy. You're on solid ground now, Virginia soil. I flinched. The hands that caught my arms were gentle, not gnawing. Hey, look at me. You are shaking like a leaf. When's the last time you ate? The officer said. He said you would eat us, that you'd boil us alive. We don't eat people, son. We got sea rations, chocolate. Here. I took the bar with trembling fingers, the sweetness exploding on my tongue like a language I'd forgotten. Across the base, American soldiers unloaded crates while a radio played Glenn Miller. They worked to music. They smiled, their boots light on the concrete. Standing there with my knees knocking together, chocolate melting, I understood with a clarity that made me dizzy. Schmid hadn't just lied about the war. He had lied about the very nature of the world. A nation that plays music while it works is a nation that has already won. The heat didn't arrive. It was already there, waiting. Not the sharp, stabbing glare of the Sahara, but a wet, woolen blanket that wrapped around my throat the moment the cattle car locks threw back. My tongue felt swollen, glued to the roof of my mouth with 3 days of train soot. The Africa Corps tunic, 2 sizes too large, hung heavy with sweat and salt, chafing the sunburn peeling across my shoulders in white flakes. Dust coated my eyelashes, turning every blink into sandpaper.
Look at the wire. It's set back further, 50 meters.
I can't feel my legs. The heat is inside my skull.
Raus, schnell, maintain formation. You are soldiers of the Reich, not cattle.
Easy there, Colonel. These boys are half dehydrated. Let them breathe.
The American stood in khakis dusted red by the Texas clay, a Red Cross armband stark against his skin. He held a canteen that sloshed with a sound more precious than ammunition. My boots, scuffed Africa course issue, soles worn paper-thin, caught on the splintered platform. The air tasted of iron and cicadas, shrill and endless.
They will not break ranks. Discipline separates us from these savages.
Matthias, look at the smoke.
What is that smell? I haven't smelled cooking fat in 2 years. Beyond the delousing sheds that reeked of Lysol, blue-white ribbons curled against the sky. Not the black cough of diesel, but wood smoke. And beneath it, the obscene scent of fat rendering. Sweet and heavy, clinging to the humidity.
We got a welcome party planned. Figured you boys might be tired of sea rations.
Propaganda. Do not accept their poisoned charity.
It's burning my eyes. They marched us past guard towers, wooden structures, not concrete, toward live oaks. Under the shade, trenches had been dug into the earth, covered with tin that radiated heat. The sound broke me. Not gunfire, but the slow hiss of juice dripping onto coals. Hiss. Pop.
Is that beef?
Texas beef. Slow cooked since dawn over post oak and mesquite.
Keller, step away from that barbarian.
Colonel, this brisket don't care about rank. Medic's orders. These men need protein.
Whitaker pressed a tin plate into my hands. The metal was warm from the food. Shredded meat fell apart at the touch, swimming in red sauce that smelled of pepper and molasses. Beside it, white bread thick as my thumb, glistening with butter, and potato salad reeking of mayonnaise. No scales, no ration tickets, just abundance that screamed.
They aren't weighing it.
This is impossible. Why would they do this?
This is how they break you, with fat. Remember Tobruk.
Remember Tobruk hungry if you want, Colonel. These kids are eating. Go slow, kid. Your gut ain't ready.
The first bite exploded. Smoke, salt, sweetness, flesh surrendering its toughness to heat. Tears cut tracks through the grime on my face. In Africa, we ate scorpions. In Sicily, shoe leather. Here, under guard, we were fed like kings while a phonograph played Glenn Miller, the brass swinging through the humidity. It tastes like summer. How can meat be this tender?
They're playing music, the work details whistling.
Keller, you will not whistle.
I'm not whistling. I'm crying. I can't stop. The truth settled in my stomach, heavy and warm. We had lost because we forgot how to feed people without fear. The tears dried, sticky on my sunburned cheeks as Whitaker led me away from the gravel yard. My throat ached from the whistling that wasn't whistling.
This way. The records office is cooler.
The sun beat down on my neck, turning the peeling skin into tight parchment. I could feel Schmid's rage radiating across the yard like heat from a furnace.
Keller, you will report back to the barracks immediately.
He's with me now, Colonel. Medical detail transferred him to administrative support.
You coddle them. You weaken them with kindness.
The gravel crunched beneath my boots, a sound too loud, too exposed. The salt-stained tunic hung loose, making me look like a child playing soldier.
Matthias, over here!
Lucas stood in the doorway of a low wooden building that smelled of cedar shingles and fresh ink. His hands were black with carbon paper dust, his face pale in the shadow of the eaves.
Go on, I'll handle the Colonel.
The wooden steps creaked under my boots. Inside, the air hummed with electric lights, real bulbs burning in daylight, and the steady click of an adding machine. I had never seen such waste of electricity.
Close the door, quickly.
The latch clicked. The sudden coolness made my sunburn sting. The room smelled of paper and tobacco and machine oil, scents of industries so thick I could taste them on my tongue, metallic and permanent.
Show him the cattle manifests, Bauer. Start with the 1942 projections.
Look at this, just one county in Texas.
The ledger cracked open. My finger traced the column. 12,400 head of cattle. 840,000 bushels of wheat. The ink was fresh, dark, confident. The numbers sat on the page with the weight of cannonballs.
Pounding on the door. Numbers. They feed you numbers to replace your spine.
Ignore him. Turn the page.
The paper was thick, watermarked, extravagant, heavy stock that would have been saved for birth certificates back home. In Germany, we wrote on newsprint, on wrappers, on the backs of ration cards. Here, they used linen paper for counting cows.
Feel the weight of it. They make paper this heavy just for counting cows.
The page felt obscene in my hands. Whitaker rolled a cigarette, his fingers yellow at the tips, and placed it between my lips.
American tobacco. Kentucky burley. Nothing like that camel dung you smoked in Libya, huh?
The smoke bit my lungs. Sweet, rich, alive. I exhaled toward the ceiling fan, watching the blue haze dance in the electric light, and thought of my father rationing his last pouch of tobacco through the winter of 41.
Muffled through the wood. Poison. They poison you to make you complacent.
It's just a cigarette, Colonel. Same leaf, different soil.
I picked up a pencil from the jar, yellow, painted, with a pink eraser. The wood smelled of cedar and possibility. I wrote my name at the top of a blank column. The graphite glided like silk, leaving a line so black and certain it seemed to etch itself into the future.
They have hundreds in that jar, Matthias. We used to sharpen sticks and dip them in soot.
The numbers blurred. Not from tears, but from magnitude. Each digit was a train car, a ship, a field stretching to the horizon. We had marched across the desert with empty bellies and boots held together with twine, while this abundance waited here, patient as stone.
You see it now. The math don't care about speeches. It just adds up.
The production curves climbed like mountains, inexorable. We had been fighting gravity itself.
The door burst open. You will close that book. You will not look.
It's too late, Colonel. We already saw.
Schmidt's face was gray, the color of old ash. He knew. The paper was too thick, the lights too bright, the tobacco too sweet. You cannot forge abundance. You cannot fake weight.
Easy, Colonel. Why don't you step outside? Get some air.
Trembling, traitors, all of you.
He turned and marched out, his boots heavy on the wooden porch. The door swung shut. I looked at the columns of plenty, at the yellow pencil in my hand.
We never had a chance, did we?
No. We never did. The Norfolk sun beat down with a white intensity that turned the wooden docks into a skillet. The air thick with the smell of fresh wheat, machine oil, and the sweet tobacco smoke from the stevedore's pipes. I stood at the edge of the gangplank, grain dust coating my burned lips with a sweetness that tasted of rust and betrayal. My salt-stained tunic clung to the blisters on my back, the Africa Corps eagle scratching at sun-peeled skin with every breath. The weight of my boots felt suddenly unbearable. Somewhere to my left, a trumpet began to wail.
Easy there, soldier. You're baking alive in that wool. Medic Whitaker, 4th Infantry. Let me see those hands before they blister clean through.
The American wore a Red Cross armband over khaki sleeves rolled thick with muscle. He held out a gray cotton towel, folded neat as a letter from home, clean enough to make my eyes water. Behind him, the dock gang, Negroes and whites sharing the same water jug, swung sledgehammers to a rhythm that didn't come from any drill sergeant. It came from that brass section screaming overhead. Swing music. Degenerate. The workers moved faster with it, smiling.
Matthias, do you hear that? It's American jazz. Schmidt says they'll shoot us for listening to jungle music. He says it's a trap to soften our minds.
It is a trap of the soul, Bauer. Keller, step away from that American swine. We do not accept their charity. We do not pollute our ears with their primitive rhythms. We are soldiers of the Reich, not dancing monkeys for their entertainment.
Nobody's getting shot today, Captain. War's over for these boys. That music? That's Duke Ellington. Helps the men keep time unloading your grain. You boys are going to help us stack it, fair and square. 3 squares a day if you work. Medical attention if you're hurt. No tricks, no sabotage, just honest labor under the sun.
Schmid stood at the gangplank rail, his SS tabs gleaming despite the Atlantic salt, his boots clicking with that familiar arrogance. His hand twitched toward his belt, not for a pistol, but for the authority he still believed he carried. He looked at the towel as if it were a serpent. I looked at the dock workers. A colored man with shoulders like a draft horse laughed at a joke from his white partner, both tapping their steel-toed boots to that wild saxophone. They weren't marching. They were dancing while they worked.
You will sabotage their grain shipments. You will feign sickness. You will refuse this degenerate labor. When the Führer wins, and he will win, we will remember who collaborated with the Untermenschen and their jungle beats. Your families will pay for your weakness.
My hands won't stop shaking, Matthias. He'll kill us. Or if not him, the others back home. But I don't want to go back on that boat. I don't want to die for hating the music. I want to feel the towel.
We're not returning to that Germany, Lucas. Look at them. A nation that plays music while it works is a nation that has already won. They aren't afraid of their own people. They don't need drums to beat submission into their workers. They have confidence. We were lied to not just about the war, but about the nature of the world. The towel isn't poison, the music isn't degenerate. The poison was us.
That's the God's honest truth, kid. Take the towel, wipe your face. There's a POW camp in Texas waiting. Camp Hearn. Good ranch land. You'll sleep in bunks, not bilge water. You'll eat beef. And you'll hear plenty more of that music while you work the fields. No SS officers breathing down your neck. Just the cows, the cotton, and the radio.
If you take that towel, Keller, you are marked, a traitor to blood and soil. I will see you hanged when the Reich rises again. Your name will be cursed in every German household.
I don't want to be cursed, Matthias. But I don't want to be dead either. I want to hear the music. I want to live more than I want to obey.
Then choose it. Choose the living.
Attaboy, come on down off that plank. The ground's solid here and the water's clean.
I reached out. My fingers, raw and peeling from the Atlantic sun, brushed the cotton. It was softer than my mother's sheets, softer than anything I'd touched in 2 years of desert and steel. I took the towel from Whitaker's hand and pressed it to my face. It smelled of soap and safety.
Give me one too, please. I want to live.
You will both burn for this. I will write your names in the Black Book. You have chosen the enemy over the Volk.
I lowered the towel and looked Schmidt in the eye. The brass band hit a crescendo, trumpets crying out to heaven, and I let the sound fill my chest. I chose the ranch. I chose the music. I chose to live. The vinyl is warped. 79 years of Texas heat have curled the edges of Sing 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 into a bronze crescent that catches the afternoon light bleeding through my Waco blinds. I hold it to the window, June. Same murderous white sun that baked the cotton fields outside Camp Hearn, and watch dust motes dance through the grooves like smoke from long-dead fires. The label is tea-stained but legible. Property of U.S. Army Camp Hearn, 1945. I am 98 now. The scar on my collarbone, where Schmidt's ring caught flesh during our last argument, has faded to silver thread, but the memory of that weight remains sharp as the needle I now lift from its cradle. My hands shake. The arthritis is a bastard, gnarling my fingers into driftwood, but I still feel the phantom weight of the phonograph arm, the way it hovered above salvation like a sword held by a merciful hand.
Keep the wrist loose, he said, that Oklahoma drawl thick as molasses in January. Music ain't a weapon, kid. It's a bridge. You don't force it. You let it carry you across whatever river you're drowning in. See that scratch on the vinyl? That's from 44, when you dropped it learning to jitterbug with the nurse from Houston. Don't hide it. That's history. That's you choosing life over the grave they dug for you in Tunisia. Play it anyway. Play it loud enough they hear it in Berlin. Let them know you survived.
I chose the ranch. I chose the music. I stayed in Texas because I realized my leaders hadn't just lied about the war. They had lied about the very nature of the world. A nation that plays music while it works is a nation that has already won.
You're actually going to stay? Lucas stood at the camp gate in August 45, his duffel bag sewn with frantic patches from the Atlantic crossing, his eyes hollow as spent shell casings. Milk cows for them, wear their clothes, marry one of their women, and raise little Americans? Schmid was right. You've gone native. You've forgotten Dresden. You've forgotten your mother tongue. Come home, Matthias. Don't die in this desert among the enemy. Don't let them turn you into their pet German.
I adjusted the Stetson on my head, too big, Clifford's gift, sweat-stained and honest, and looked at the boy who had shared my bunk for 2 years. They gave us Goodman while we worked the fields, Lucas. They gave us Benny Goodman and cold water when the fever took me. What did Berlin give us? Ashes. The Black Book. Lies about the nature of the world.
You will rot in this dirt. He had spat at the wire. his SS collar tabs catching the high noon glare, his face purple with the rage of the abandoned. I write your name in the black book now. You are dead to the Volk. You are a traitor, a dog, a nothing. When Germany rises again, your bones will bleach here, forgotten. You chose the enemy. You chose weakness over steel. You chose to become a slave rather than a soldier. You are erased.
I lowered the towel and looked him in the eye. The brass band hit a crescendo, trumpets crying out to heaven from the guard tower speakers, and I let the sound fill my chest. I chose to live.
"You're safe now," he whispered, pressing the sulfa packet into my sunburned palm, his medic's hands steady and clean and impossibly gentle for a man who had landed at Omaha Beach. "The war's over for you, Matthias. Go make something grow. Play the music. Let it heal you. Don't look back at the wire. Just listen to the clarinet."
These stories are disappearing. The boys who heard brass bands instead of artillery, who learned that mercy smells like tobacco and iodine instead of cordite. We are going. The dust settles on the vinyl like snow on a grave. The needle finds the groove again, pops against the warp, catches. Subscribe to honor the stories that survived the fire. Hold these voices while you can. I lower the tone arm. The clarinet begins. I am home. I am 98 years old now. The arthritis in my fingers makes it hard to hold the record needle steady. The boys who stood beside me on that dock, Fritz, young Dieter, the American Sergeant Joe, most are gone now, their stories buried with them. My grandchildren ask me about the war, but I don't tell them about battles or ideology. I tell them about stepping off the gangway to the sound of Benny Goodman's Sing Sing, a sing while watching black and white workers laughing together over crates of white bread. We share these stories so the humanity of that generation is never forgotten. If you believe these memories should be preserved, please subscribe to help us keep them alive before the last of us who remember are gone. I can still taste that white bread, soft and warm as a cloud against my tongue, while the clarinet sang of a world I never knew existed. The characters, incidents, and dialogue in this video are dramatized for narrative and entertainment effect. While some events may be inspired by real-life themes, this story is a work of fiction.